Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into the mindset of the world's greatest mathematical thinkers to hack your daily life. Here are 11 brilliant tips, straight from mathematical geniuses, to help you navigate life with more clarity, confidence, and control. Let's get started. 1. Break the problem down, a fundamental principle in mathematics, championed by George Polya, a famous Hungarian mathematician and recently mentioned by Terence Dow, is that a complex problem must be reduced to a sequence of simpler, solvable sub-problems. When facing an overwhelming task, whether it's a big project, a messy budget, a home repair, do not try to solve the whole thing at once. Systematically break it into small, independent steps. Once you solve the first small step, the overall solution feels possible. 2. Question all assumptions. Mathematicians demand logical proof. Nothing is accepted as a given without logical justification. Per the advice from Kurt Gödel, one of the most influential mathematicians of the 20th century. Many conjectures were eventually proved wrong after several decades. In your daily life, when making a decision, list your assumptions and challenge them. According to Eric Temple Bell, a Scottish-born mathematician, the most dangerous word is obvious. Are you assuming a product is high quality because it's expensive? Are you assuming a stock will rise because of past performance? Identifying shaky assumptions leads to clearer thinking. 3. Look for patterns. Mathematics is the science of patterns, as often stated by modern mathematicians like Ian Stewart. Identifying a pattern is the first step toward creating a general rule or solution. Hence, try to observe recurring issues in your life and find the common thread, whether it's about financial leaks, chronic lateness, or recurring arguments. Once you see the pattern, such as, I spend the most money on Fridays, the solution becomes a systematic intervention on that pattern. 4. Define your variables. Before you solve for x, you must define what x represents. John von Neumann's work across many fields required absolute precision in defining terms. You should also apply the same approach in your daily life. In any problem or conflict, clearly define the objective, constraints, and unknowns. What exactly is the goal? What resources, time, money, are fixed? What information are you missing? Clarity in definition is half the solution. Many problems are alleviated or avoided if all parties know what they are exactly talking about. 5. Understand conditional logic. One of the most common conditional statements in daily life is contrapositive. Contrapositive is derived from an original if P then Q statement by negating and interchanging both parts, resulting in if not Q, then not P. For example, consider if it is raining, then the grass is wet to be true. Then you can assume that the contrapositive statement, if the grass is not wet, then it is not raining, is also true. How often do you hear people instead derive something like, if it does not rain, then the grass will not get wet? That's when understanding conditional logic, like contrapositive, is helpful. 6. Apply probability and risk assessment. Blaise Pascal and Pierre de Fermat are the pioneers of probability. They turned games of chance and decision-making into a rigorous science of risk. They figured out that the expected outcome of an event is the sum of the products of each possible outcome and its corresponding probability. Expected value provides a logical approach to decision-making after considering a range of possible scenarios. Ask yourself, what is the probability of a positive outcome versus the size of the negative outcome? If the probability of a failed product times the repair cost is less than the warranty cost, then don't buy the warranty. This helps you make calculated, rational decisions instead of emotional ones. You will be surprised to know how often emotion often takes over logic when it comes to making decisions, a whopping 95% of the times. 7. Willing to embrace failures. Modern mathematicians like Andrew Wiles speak of the long, dark journey of problem solving. Perhaps I could best describe my experience of doing mathematics in terms of entering a dark mansion. You go into the first room and it's dark, completely dark. You stumble around, bumping into the furniture. Gradually, you learn where each piece of furniture is. And finally, after 6 months or so, you find the light switch and turn it on. You try a method, it fails. You learn from the failure, and you try a slightly different method. It is an iterative loop. There is no other way around in our life to success. Don't fear the failed experiment. Treat a failed attempt at a new routine, project, or recipe not as a catastrophe, but as data. Learning to deal with frustration, to reflect on errors, and to persevere is a big part of character growth. Rather than seeing a years-long problem-solving process as a sign that something is wrong with you, consider that it may simply mean that you haven't yet encountered the mental models or technologies needed to resolve it. 8. Simplify the complex. As the American mathematician Stan Gutter said, "The essence of math is not to make simple things complicated, but to make complicated things simple." This is done through abstraction, seeing the core structure. In your everyday life, take a messy, emotional, or overwhelming situation and try to describe its essence in just 1 or 2 sentences. Stripping away the noise and focusing on the core facts, the simple structure, reveals the direct path to the solution. 9. Remember compound interest? Compound interest is the interest on interest, where you earn returns not only on your initial principal, but also on the accumulated interest from previous periods. This creates a snowball effect, exponentially increasing your savings over time. Albert Einstein once said compound interest is the most powerful force in the universe. Warren Buffett, widely considered the greatest investor ever, also said his wealth has come from a combination of living in America, some lucky genes, and compound interest. If we can get better by only 1% per day, the compound impact can surprisingly make us 37 times better after a year. A 1% extra on interest rate can have a massive impact if looking over a long 30-year horizon. 10. Use abstraction to gain perspective. Abstraction is real, probably more real than nature. That is a famous quote from Alexander Grothendieck, a late French mathematician. In various daily activities, from painting a picture, solving a work project, or evaluating a child development, it is critical to step back and look at the bigger picture. Abstract thinking helps you see patterns and solutions that aren't immediately obvious. It also helps reduce errors when we may get lost in the forest of details and end up with something silly. Too much analysis can indeed create paralysis. 11. Embrace the journey of learning. It is not knowledge but the act of learning. Not the possession of, but the act of getting there, which grants the greatest enjoyment. That was famously quoted from Carl Friedrich Gauss, a famous German mathematician, often called the Prince of Mathematicians. When taking on a new hobby, career skill, or physical challenge, stop defining success only by the final result, such as publishing a book or winning a race. Instead, savor the daily act of practice, the small breakthroughs, and the feeling of your competence growing. So there you have it. 11 ways to infuse the powerful, logical thinking of mathematicians into your everyday life. Which one resonated with you the most? Let me know in the comments below. If you found this helpful, hit that like button, subscribe for more insights, and don't forget to ring that notification bell.